Hello viewers, welcome to today's video. My name is Wisdom Sunday. Today I want to talk about something I brought up last week about migrating to a country with a visit visa. So people reach out to me and we are saying a whole lot of things about how they've seen so many people that have migrated with a visit visa and that they are doing well and all that. But these people don't really understand the severity and the magnitude of the issues that comes out from this route. All right, so in today's video I'm going to look deeply at visit or tourist visas, explain to you what they are meant for and who is supposed to go with them, explain to you the implication and the disadvantages of migrating with a visit visa. Right, so if you're following us for the first time or if you're seeing my video for the first time, kindly like, follow and subscribe to this channel. That will bring you updates about university blogs, about traveling abroad, about lifestyle generally of an immigrant. So without wasting much of your time, let's dive into this video. I'm going to talk about migrating with a visit visa, all right, in details. Visit visas are non-immigration visas. There are types of visas around the world. There are two types. There are immigration visas and non-immigration visa. So visit visa is one of the non-immigration visas. It is meant for people that wants to visit a particular country, maybe to see their family, or for tourism, or maybe to attend a meeting or a conference, and after that visitation they are supposed to go back. So that is why these visit visas were created. Some could last for 6 months or 3 months depending on the application. All right, so but we notice that some people make applications which are misleading, telling the embassies that they want to visit this country maybe for tourism, and when they get to that country they wouldn't go back after their visa has expired, hoping that they will switch that visa to something else, but it has so many disadvantages, and I've seen it ruin lives. So today I'm going to list out to you the disadvantages of this migration with visit or tourist visas. Number one is legal and immigration issues. So a visit visa has a limited duration, and staying beyond that allowed period can result in deportation or a ban from re-entering that country. So when you are given a visit visa, there will be a limitation to it. They can say this visa is valid for 6 months or 2 years. So when you get that kind of visa and it's a country you intend to stay for a long time, which means you are going to overstay the validity of that visa, then what it means is that you will be banned from re-entering that country whenever you leave. All right, that is one of the disadvantages. So the second major one is legal work authorization. Visitors or tourist visa holders are not allowed to work legally in any country they find themselves. So if you are caught working without authorization, you could face serious legal consequences, which includes fine, deportation, and so many other things. I need to explain more on this working authorization. When you go to first world countries like the US, UK, Canada, and Australia, before you start working in the community or in the system, every employer must ask you about your right to work. So you need to provide the rights you have in that country to work. And for every employer, they have that obligation to make sure they recruit people that have the right to work in the country where they are. So that person cannot get a job in a proper, legitimate organizations. The only job they can do, the people that have done it, will be under the table jobs, or maybe manual job. Maybe someone wants someone that will cut grass for them. They can just meet them and cut the grass, and they'll be paid cash, or maybe someone wants a babysitter. They can come and sit with someone's child. So they're just illegal and under the table jobs that doesn't warrant. It's not what you can build a career on. So if you want to work on a proper job, proper career job in a country legally, then run away from migrating with a visit visa. Okay, we've seen so many videos where the immigration or the home office have went to locations like factories where people are working, shut it down, and started checking the immigration status of people working there. So when they discover that maybe this person does not have the right to work in that country, the person will be arrested, they will be detained, they might be deported. Even the company that employs them will be in trouble. All right, so it's not worth it moving and dumping your career and living on the streets because you can't get a legal job. The third reason is a very difficult path to permanent residency. So if you want to be a permanent resident in the country where you are going, unlike other visa categories like the student visa or work visas, a visit visa does not lead to a permanent residency. So you can be on that visit visa, it expires, you just be staying on that country like that without a status. You can stay there for 25 years. Even at that 25 years, you will not get any paper, you will not get a permanent residency. So it doesn't worth it staying with a visit visa when you know at the end you can't get a permanent residency in that particular location. All right. Then number 4 on the list is visit visa holders don't have access to public services or for public facilities. Visitors do not qualify for free health care like in the UK. They can't use public housing. They can't use social benefits. All right. So let's assume you are in the country and something happens to you, you become sick. You cannot access health care because you don't have the right to even live there. People that visit countries, they go there with health insurance from whenever they are coming from. So that insurance is supposed to protect them and be a cover in case they have any health challenge during that visit. So, but when you now go there and you stay and you refuse to go back, that health insurance expires and you can no longer access health care, you can't access school, you can't access so many public facilities. Then we look at exploitation. Exploitation is a very massive area for people that migrated with visit visas. I'll need to explain it like in more details. Working illegally, right, may expose you to unfair wages, unsafe conditions, and exploitation by employers. Because these employers, they know that you don't even have the right to work. So they are doing you a favor. So if they are doing that, they know they are doing the wrong thing and they will use that avenue to exploit you. All right. So they do things like they will not pay you the actual wage for that job you are doing. Let's assume you are working in a restaurant, and normally working in a restaurant you might be earning £12 or $12 per hour if you had the right to work. But when you don't have the right to work, you can see someone earning £4 instead of 10 because they know that you don't have any option. What would you do? Secondly, you don't have a right to rent. So some of them will maybe be sleeping in someone's store or sleeping in someone's garage. Some that have the courage to maybe rent a house, they have to rent the house with someone else's name that have the right to rent. So let's assume you are the person coming with a visit visa, you've overstayed your visit, you can no longer rent. So if you want to rent, you have to come and meet me that have the right to rent. I'll use my name to rent a house for you, for myself. Then you will not be staying in that house, and nobody will do that kind of service for you for free. You have to pay me for getting you a house, and for putting a roof over your head. So the exploitation are endless. You will not be paid the normal wage accrued to you for the job you are doing. you can't rent properly, you can't do so many other things. So, and it's that's what is called stability in the location. So when you relocate to a new country, you work yourself your way up, from when you came till you start acquiring things, maybe getting a mortgage, getting a life, getting a career. But if you are using a visit visa, you cannot do any of these things. You cannot get a mortgage because you cannot prove your right to work. You don't even have right to rent. You cannot apply for loans. You cannot get so many things that someone living in the country can get. You can't even open a bank statement, So it's very, very difficult. What of the psychological stress? Just imagine the stress of living in fear of deportation. You can't drive on the road. When you see police, you are fidgeting, you are always hiding. You don't have that peace, of mind. So there's a psychological trauma and stress that comes with it. All right. So it's not what you're living in fear of deportation, avoiding the authorities, facing uncertainty about the future can stress you and cause you so much anxiety. All right. Then what of bringing your family? Let's assume you're someone that has a family back home. You can't bring them because there's no route to bring them, because it's nearly impossible, because your family are supposed to be your dependents. So when you yourself, which is the main applicant, don't have a status, there is no how your family can have a status, because your family can't be on somebody that doesn't have anything. In a better explanation, you need to have a status to be able to sponsor someone. So when you are illegal or on a visit visa, you don't have a status, so you cannot sponsor anybody, even if it's your family or your kids. All right. So that is one. There are so many things. Even finally, if you want to apply for visas and subsequent visas, you'll be asked that question of what was your former visa. There are avenues where they will ask you if you've overstayed your visa before. So in every subsequent application you are going to do in your life, you have to be explaining what happened then, why you overstayed, why there is those lapses, and you have to carry that until you get another status. So it's not worth it. Overstaying or violating visa terms can negatively impact your future visa applications, right, to even any other country. Maybe you went to Canada and you overstayed in Canada, then you left Canada, they will ban you because you overstayed. Then let's assume you want to move to Australia, another country entirely. That other country you are going to can assess your former status from the former place, because you are now on the banned list. So we hope that bad omen will be hovering around you. You can't move to any other place, so it will impact your immigration history forever. All right. So I think with these very points, I've been able to tell you more about migrating with a visit visa, how risky it is, and it often leads to serious legal, financial, and social difficulties. So it is always better to explore legal immigration pathways, which so many countries have provided, like the work visas, or moving with a study. Then after your studies, you can switch to a work visa, or so many other ones. There are so many other visas. Global talent visa, there is the express entry, there is the work visa routes for different countries. So look at each of these countries, anywhere you want to go to, explore their other pathways, their migration pathways that are legal, and you can use that to migrate to the country of your dream. All right. I hope I've been able to tell you so many things in this video about moving and the dangers of moving with visit visas. Please, if you are blessed with this video, kindly share this video to other people that wants to make the same mistake. Like or subscribe to this channel so that you can get other updates will bring your way. Thank you, and God bless.